Guys, we're going to have a great episode today. Before we get into that, I want to thank you guys, the listeners, for all the support that you get. I want to remind you that you can reach out to me on Instagram. If you don't follow it at JScottOutdoors. Feel free to send me a DM. I love corresponding with you guys about your hunts and any questions that you might have. We're going to have a great episode. I also want to thank the sponsors of this podcast. I want to thank GoHunt.com. Cody Nelson, my friend of 20 plus years. He's the glassing guru, the optics authority. He's the optics manager over there at GoHunt.com at the gear shop. You can reach out directly for info or for sales at 702-847-8747. You can also email him at optics@gohunt.com. He also gets texts from my listeners on his cell phone, 602-399-3699. Feel free to send him a text if you're looking for a certain tripod or binocular or spotting scope or rifle scope, anything to do with optics. Give Cody Nelson a call or a text. I want to thank GoHunt.com also and remind you guys that the GoHunt maps, the mobile app mapping apps, are now available on iTunes and Android. They have real 3D. It's awesome 3D mapping on these mobile apps. You can get a free trial, a 7-day free trial, by going to gohunt.com/JScott. You can also check in the show notes. I'll have it linked up. You get a 7-day free trial. That gives you access to everything in the Insider, as well as let you look at the mapping apps both on the desktop and on your phone. You can also sign up by going to gohunt.com and just use JScott, and that's going to save you $50. You're actually going to get a GoHunt gift card, $50 GoHunt gift card when you sign up. So go check it out. Also want to thank KUIU Ultralight Hunting. That's the gear that I wear on all of my hunts. Go to KUIU.com to order the gear right there that are direct-to-consumer model. So that's the only place you can get the gear, as well as phonescope.com. Use the JScott21 promo code, and you're going to get a 10% discount. Guys, let's get right to this episode. And again, thanks for listening. Guys, welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. I've got Duwane Adams here, fresh off the Kaibab. We're going to get the full report on the Kaibab. Duwane, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Jay. It's always good to hear your voice.
Yeah, I know you just got back from the Kaibab. The hunt just finished. We had high hopes going in. Tell me about it. How did it go?
Well, the high hopes dwindled fast. It was brutal, Jay. In my 40 years of guiding in the Kaibab, it probably was the worst I've ever had. We had high winds, Jay. Well, we had high winds, Jay, between 30 and 60 mile an hour for 3 days. And it was blowing that storm in. And then on Monday night, that storm finally hit there, which was the 4th day. And it dumped a little bit of snow, 2 or 3 inches type of snow. And then it blew out that next day. So Tuesday is when we really started hunting, to be very honest with you. And we couldn't find a big buck. All my guides are very seasoned, and they looked and looked and looked. And the best buck I shot at, Jay, was probably in the 170s with a client. And it was a non-typical. Reason we shot him, he was a non-typical. He had like 8 or 9 points on one side. We could see all the trash and everything. And we shot at that deer 3 times and missed him. That's the best buck I seen in the whole hunt. And when I left the Kaibab, I stopped by the check station, and they had killed 104 bucks on both sides. And when you take 450 tags and 75, or 70, I think, on the east side, to put that together, that's about a 25 or 30% kill ratio.
So weather conditions were poor, but what about antler growth? Is it down?
Just as poor, yeah. I stopped by Ryan Hatch, a good friend of mine, which you know as well, and when I walked in there, he said, "You getting your butt kicked?" I said, "Ryan, I've never had my butt kicked so bad in my life." We're seeing 25, 30 bucks a day. Every one of my guides and me, but they're babies. None of the other boys either seen a big deer. We never seen a 190. I mean, kill us one thing, but we never seen one. And and it's that simple. And I talked to 2 or 3 other outfitters that are friends of mine, and they hadn't killed a deer. And they kind of sought me out when they see me at Jacobs Lake. He said, "How you doing, Duwane?" I said, I'm getting my butt kicked. I said, "I'm not finding any big deer." He said, "Man, I'm glad if you're getting your butt kicked." He said, "We're getting ours kicked bad." He said, we're what do you, and of course you go through all, you think, what's wrong, what's this, what's that. There's several things that played into this. And I'm not a type of guy that makes an excuse, because I try to teach that people don't pay you for excuses. But those snows that we got, Jay, those deer were literally all the way out to slide and to jump up and all the way to the top of the highway. So the numbers were just brutally, there are pockets of deer everywhere we went. But you'd see 6 or 8 or 10 does in a 2-point or a little small 3-point. And you might drive 7 or 8 miles and see no more deer or tracks. And so that's what we finally come to do. We just started spreading out and started looking at the holes. And they went right through those oaks, Jay, like they were on fire. There was not an acorn in that whole zone. And I know that once they go through those there's no acorns, they're going right straight to the winter range. Well, then they spread out from there to the white pockets all the way down. And, man, that's 20 miles of cedars. And so it was tough. It was tough, as tough as it gets. We killed 6 bucks, Jay. But I'm going to tell you, I had 2 really good, hard hunting trophy guys, and they did not kill. But we busted our butt for them. At one time, we had 4 or 5 guides looking all over everywhere for those guys. And I mean, they really said, "Look, Duwane, all you can do is what you can do." And that's all we did. But we didn't see a big deer. I didn't see a big deer checked in or back of a truck or anything.
So definitely got to think that it's drought related and that the rains came too late for those deer, and that's why you couldn't find any big deer, right?
That's exactly what I put it to, and we all talked about that. I think that had to be the common denominator. That it had to be just brutal up there for those poor deer. And I've seen less deer than I've ever seen in my 40 years of guiding up there. But I put that back. We're talking to camp every night with these guys. And we're going in 50 directions. We're going to Cooper Ridge all the way down to Sowatch, to jump up back into the burn. I mean, we're going everywhere. It's not like we're just sitting in one hole. And these guys would come back, Jay, and nobody's seen a big deer. Nobody said, "Man, I seen a big deer, I couldn't kill it." There was none of that. Nobody seen a big deer. And Ryan said the same thing when they come into his shop there in Kanab. He said, "Man, I've had 2 or 3 calls from guys on it. It's brutal." I said, "Ryan, I'm just telling you. I'm not telling you right now. I did not see what I would call a 180 deer."
Wow. And that's never happened to you, has it?
Nope, not in my career. And I was asked that to those guys. I mean, a lot of times we shoot it. Last year we killed 200-inch deer on that hunt, and killed 4 deer over 180.
Yeah.
So, we did really well, but it did not happen, and it's just that darn simple. So I'll be up there in 3 weeks. At the 18th, I'll be back up there for I have 3 late hunters on that hunt, and God willing, I hope that the rut's on and suck some of those things out of the trees or square the heck they're hiding, because they darn sure worn out where we could find them.
Well, let me ask you this. So antler growth is really bad. How did range conditions look as far as the actual terrain and vegetation and grass, and just how does it look? Does it look incredible?
No, it looks about average, Jay. They had some unbelievable rains on top of that mountain. You can see where it washed the roads out. I mean, it washed boulders out of the size of trucks and the roads. They had cats up there trying to fix the road at 22. So they'd straightened that out. But you could see where it just unbelievably was. But once you dropped off down past that and you went on down from below that, from White Pockets to Sowatch all the way to Slide, all of those country down at that winter range, it was poor. It was very poor. No stock tanks had any water. I went by half a dozen dirt stock tanks. Still had no water. The tank it slide elbow, and there's one above that. I mean, there was no water, none.
So what do you do? I mean, all you do as a guide is do the best you can. On a bad year like this, there's a bunch of deer that probably will not get shot. Moving forward, I mean, it could put some age on some deer for next year, right?
Well, that's exactly what could happen very seriously, because if it stays like it is now, we talked about that. Let's just say we don't get any great weather to push them deer. Those deer, push the rest of the deer down. That's what I'm talking about. Those big bucks will still be in that burn right off the highway all the way to Jump Up. That's 40 miles where the crow flies. I mean, that's not 40 miles of canyons. That's probably 80 miles of canyons up and down. So they're going to be isolated pockets, and you better know where they're at. And you better go try to. And that's one thing. Jay, I set up at one place, and I've killed several great bucks out of this place. And I watched 50 does come off in about 4 hours in the evening, and they never stopped, and they just kept feeding. And when I left at dark, they were going out of sight. We could watch them go out of sight, and they were going down to Jump Up. They never slowed down. I mean, they just picked along and just kept going. And I told the client that was with me, I said, we'll hunt down there tomorrow. And we did. We went down there and hunted, but man, is that tough down there, because unless they're rutting, those cedars they're 5, 6, 7 miles of cedars, and they won't come out of it.
Yeah. Switching gears, I assume you're going coues deer hunting this weekend, or possibly desert mule deer hunting. What are you hearing out there around
Same thing.
Your country?
They're same thing with desert mule deer. They suffered mightily. The desert deer did, from the people that I've talked to. But the coues deer, they've killed some ungodly monster coues deer. They're just they killed one on the reservation. I don't know if you know, it scored 150.
Yeah, I saw it. Big old non-typical looking freak deal.
And I've seen where they've killed a couple other bucks in the 130s.
Yeah.
So they're just, coues deer are just different. They just don't have to have as much water as the other deer do. And the vegetation is different than they eat too, which you know as well as I do. So they're a lot more hardy when it comes to that horn growth than they do. But the mule deer suffered horribly.
I kept watching pictures on Instagram, knowing that all you guys were up at the Kaibab, and I wasn't seeing photos hardly at all. And I was, in my mind, I'm thinking, what is going on up there? And I really hadn't talked to anybody, but it makes sense. As soon as I heard your voice, I knew something was wrong. From someone that's usually so fired up to be at the Kaibab, it sounds like a grind.
It was a grind. Best bucks we killed 2 bucks in the 160s, and they were literally the best bucks. And both the hunters are absolutely ecstatic to kill them, because they said that's just the way it is. I said, look, we can't make them appear. We keep working, and we did, but we never seen any bigger bucks.
And I assume the east side was really rough. If the west side
way worse.
Yeah,
way worse. The east side, I talked to 3 or 4 and good hunters there at Jacobs. They get gas, and they said, "Man, we're struggling, Mr. Adams." And I said, "Look, son, I'm struggling with you." So, I mean, it's that simple. They said, "You got any places to go?" And I gave them 4 or 5 places. I said, the tags are so hard. You try to help people. I said, "Go here, look here, just keep moving." But they hadn't killed anything. I hadn't seen any kind of deer come off the east side worth anything.
Anything new? Any changes up there at the gas pumps or the restaurants, or anything that anybody needs to know? Any road closures?
Well, they've on the west side, they got the Oak Corral gate closed going down Snake Gulch, and they had the road closed down for the Game and Fish check station down. But they opened it about midway through the hunt. Thank God they did, because that takes about an hour off of your driving. They did that, but they closed that down to Snake Gulch. So that's close. You have to go around and come down to the White Pockets Road. But besides that, that's it. Now gas was $4.80, and I mean that's a sticker shock. But you know, Jay, I got to Flagstaff. It was $3.49 going up, and it was $3.69 when I went back.
Nice.
So
good. Well, I won't take any more of your time. I appreciate the report. The listeners always like hearing from you. Also, are you going to be, during hunting season, do you do your glassing lessons, or do you wait till hunting season's over?
No, we do them, Jay. I just had a guy call that listened to the last podcast about an hour ago, and we do them. We try to fit them in, and then, you know, if we're off for a week or two, we'll take 2 or 3 guys or 4, whatever they take. And so we just give us a call, and Nick and I are trying to fit them in, and we'd be glad to take them.
Awesome. Why don't you let the listeners know how they can reach out to you, and also link it up in the show notes?
You bet. Just give me a call at 520-385-4995. You'll probably talk to my wife or leave a message, and we'll be glad to take you on glassing lessons and try to help you as much as we can.
All right, buddy. Well, hope you have a great coues deer hunt this weekend. One question. So we've got a dark moon. Do you like that better than the October hunt where it was a fuller, brighter moon?
Yes, I do, and I think that was a part of it as well. But yeah, I think the wind killed us more than anything. But I do like a dark better than the open full moon. You bet.
Right on. All right, buddy. God bless. Take care.
God bless you, Jay. It's always good talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.